Splatoon 1 and 2 explored a new genre for Nintendo, so the game went through loads of drastic changes throughout development, with a bunch of early and cut content left behind in the files. Splatoon 2's files have a few early shirt designs. One shows a gray shoe with the English word test. The other is an Inkling girl wearing what looks suspiciously like a Supreme shirt. But hey, it's probably this red test logo seen on these early Salmon Run outfits that's covered also in those test logos. Similarly, the kanji for temporary can be seen on this orange jacket and hat, which would have been given out in the Octo expansion, along with these cool yellow roller skates and this human face mask. Humans were actually considered for the design of the characters in early versions, before Nintendo decided on Inklings. Early prototypes used simple cuboids, which blended in with their ink on the other screen's map. When these were changed to humans, you could see that someone was there, so hiding using a cape was added. The humans were later changed to rabbits. It seems like the top of their ears would be used to show what color ink they would make and which direction they were facing. Many developers didn't understand why rabbits would hide in ink, so squids were chosen instead. There's even a hat model that was left behind that the rabbits would have been able to use. It can be seen worn in very early screenshots, but it doesn't even fit on the player's head when added onto the files of Splatoon 2. There are even more unused models in Splatoon 2, including Plaza Test Player, an Inkling model that probably would have been used to test the appearance of other Inklings in the plaza. The skin and hair are both completely white, as their colors are set by the game. CLTVST006, likely meaning clothing vest, is a red, sleeveless puffer jacket over a blue long-sleeve shirt, which was probably cut out as it's too similar to Marty McFly's costume from Back to the Future. There are two coat models, a turquoise one saying Test in white letters, and a magenta one saying Test 2. Similarly, there's a turquoise cap called Head Test, which also has Test written on it. Some orange shoes saying Test also exist. The text on the right shoe is vertically mirrored, as the entire model for that shoe is mirrored. The model is used for the arrow pull-ons in-game, but these textures are unused. These two turquoise and magenta shoes go unused, but also have Test in their model, with Test written on the back. Co-op Bindable Shield is an early model for the Scrapper Shield. Defense Tower is a pointy, squid-shaped tower with some little squids on the top. The texture on these squids is very simple and actually looks like this. The pink Japanese text translates to temporary. It might have been an unfinished Salmon Run object, or maybe it was intended for a cut game mode called Rocket, where a rocket spawns in the middle of the map and can be activated by a player so that it launches towards the opponent's team base. Each time it spawns, it'll move closer to the opponent of the team who activated it last, until it reaches a team's base. The Octoling boots from the original game were left in the files of the game, but replaced with the Neo Octoling boots in the final version, which used the new boot design from the story mode Octolings. The Octolings seen in the first game's story mode have a completely separate yet unused model intended as a playable character model. When modded in, it works as intended, with hair that matches the player's ink color and even unique eyes, where the story mode version just uses Inkling eyes hidden behind opaque goggles. This version of the Octolings looks completely different to the two versions officially released with Splatoon 2's paid DLC. Two early Octoling hair models were actually found just under a year before the Octo expansion released. The Octoling boy hair is similar to one of the options available in the final game. The Octoling girl hair is exactly the same as the original Octoling hair model. The Amiibo box model in the first game's plaza had a hidden texture on the back that you can't normally see, which is fully detailed with all the text changed to the Inkling language. There's a texture in Anchovy games shown next to the elevators depicting a map of a stage that is completely different to the actual layout in the game. The texture for the skull bandana clothing item has a top half that isn't normally seen because the bandana is folded in half. There are loads more cut clothing items in the files for the first game, but with even more in the files in Super Mario Maker. In fact, there are nearly 70 early Splatoon item icons in Super Mario Maker's files, with 19 shirts, 23 headwear items, 12 shoes, and more. Here are some of the most interesting ones. There's an icon for the stealth goggles, with another version in Splatoon's files, and both versions are different to the final one. Two icons show different textures for Splatoon 2's test boots from earlier. The gas mask item looks entirely different, with a darker final design. Is a golf visor similar to the rabbit hat seen earlier, and a hat with the English text saying sample. Similarly, there's a white shoe that also says sample. The paintball mask has no Forge logo on the top. The camping hat looks slightly different, with a different band and blank top in the final version. The varsity jacket was originally called the varsity hoodie, and and looked like this in Mario Maker, and this in the early versions of Splatoon. There's a shirt with an early icon in Mario Maker and data in Splatoon called the Shirt Stravaganza, which was seen in pre-release screenshots and in one of the sunken scrolls. This shirt was fully functional but unobtainable until it was removed in 2.3.0, probably because it was too similar to the baby jelly shirt. The splash wall looks much more simple and barely textured in the early icon. The squid beacon, which is a radar dish in the final game, originally looked like a flag. The disruptor was originally a shiny black sphere with holes in it, but was changed to a round bottom flask with a handle attached. The sprinkler is slightly similar, with a more metallic material and an orange part. The bubbler's icon is a very simple green gradient, without the silhouette of an inkling in the center. Also, there's a placeholder icon saying WPN in bold green text. The final game has some placeholder icons left behind saying not found and no brand, and will show up if a piece of gear hasn't got an icon or brand, which shouldn't happen in game. A placeholder image exists in the model for the plaza, including the Squid Sisters concept art. Placeholder files for enemies were added to the game in version 2.4.0, which are called Jumping Guy and Hammer Guy. This may mean that DLC was planned for the first game, but eventually got scrapped. It's kind of funny to think about it, seeing as we do have the Ultra Stamp, which could be that Hammer Guy, huh? 3 placeholder ability ticket textures are in Splatoon 2's files, each with the kanji for temporary in white letters with a red outline. They all use slightly different designs compared to the final game. This game also had an entire debug menu left in the files until about version 3.2.0. It even mentions a bunch of test levels that aren't in the files and crashed the game. There's co-op tests, test plaza, player tests, test tutorial, and even test stages named after some of the developers. This debug menu also allows you to access a mode called Free Test, where you can freely explore a stage. The timer is frozen at 8 minutes and 10 seconds, so you can't go back to the menu without closing the game. The Splatoon 2 Global Testfire demo from before the game released contains some early content too. There's an early Joy-Con grip image with black Joy-Con, like the ones seen with the Nintendo Switch development kits. Also, there's an odd unused Switch tablet image with a 4:3 aspect ratio screen. An unused image is in Splatoon 2's files showing there was originally going to be a Splatfest between eggs and omelets. Instead, later on, we got the chicken versus egg Splatfest, so it seems like we'll never see that Splatfest. There are also files referencing 6 sets of unused ink colors, most of which were probably cut as the ink from both teams was too similar. Some files reference the first game as Gambit, which probably was its code name during development. I believe the only place we see Gambit now is probably for the ability Opening Gambit instead. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy me. Hello, I'm VicVion. Click here to go to my channel, but make sure to leave a comment with a suggestion before you go, and subscribe to the cut content of Who Allowed Me to Voice This Today. Thanks for watching.